Hello, everybody. This is Renault, and we're going to do a review of Vampirella number 6. And so, as a quick run through, Vampirella has crossed over into quote unquote our world. I mean, the real world with you and me and everybody else. And during the reason why I'm doing this kind of recap is because Dynamite and the advertisements for this book was that Vampirella number 6 is an excellent jumping on point. So if this book turned out bad, I was going to title the book Vampirella number 6 makes an excellent jumping off point. Hardy har har. But actually this book wasn't actually so bad. It's back to business. The therapist that I can't stand has minimal screen time. More minimal screen time, the better. Anyway, I've been forgetting to do my typical hellos, so let me do my hellos. Hello, calendar. Calendars are a godsend. Hello, poster. Draco dormins nunquam titilandos. Never awaken a sleeping dragon. Another good slogan is never moon a werewolf. Hello, cleaner, disinfectant wipes. Hello, whiteout. Hello, shades. You need to get back in the car. Hello, plastic plants. Hello, candle. Makes my room smell nice. I don't really notice until you have it and then you don't have it. It makes my room smell like I burned off, an eighth? And it made my room smell nice for like 3 days. Anyway, by the way, hello 5-hour energy, hello plastic forks and knives, hello various writing things. Anyway, Vampirella number 6. I think the story is back on track. Oh, by the way, hello Vampirella number 3. No, number 1. Yeah, Vampirella number 1 will be making a guest appearance thanks to this rockin' pose. Anyway, so I was doing a recap. So Vampirella is in a real world. How she got into the real world has not even been hinted at yet. She was on a plane. That plane crashed due to the actions of someone named Van Christ. Van Christ is coordinating with 2 demon women whose names I don't have written down and don't remember. But he's coordinating with 2 demon women to try and take down Vampirella. One wants to do it, and the other one is kind of being forced into it. And Vampirella is being helped by just a random woman named Victory. She's a black lesbian woman who is in a on-again, off-again relationship with Vampirella. And then a male witch named Benny, who has contributed absolutely nothing to this story. Absolutely nothing. And I'm not even kidding. If you removed all the scenes with Benny the male witch, nothing would change. Anyway. Oh, there's a lesbian relationship, like I mentioned, between Vampirella and the black woman named Victory. But it doesn't really add much to the story other than being edgy. But lesbianism was edgy in the 90s. Well, maybe the 80s. But it was definitely done being edgy by the time the year 2000 rolled around. So you're 20 years too late for being in a lesbian relationship and trying to have that mean anything. Anyway, let's get into the book. Oh, wait. Did I mention that people are plotting against her? Yeah. So anyway, Vampirella. Oh yeah, and Vampirella has several encounters with her mother, who is closely monitoring Vampirella, using the spy Eustanchios, and is generally just nagging and harassing Vampirella. More like nagging, as opposed to harassing. Anyway, we're going to start off by skipping a couple of pages. Well, actually, let's look at this page, because it's not bad. The 6 Marys are on a field mission And so they are going to kill some undead. And they are demanding that the undead repent their sins. Now, there's some pretty cool banter about can the undead actually repent? And that's a good question. I suppose vampires could. Vampires are vampires undead? It depends on which mythos you're using, I suppose. But anyway, they're on the hunt for some undead. And they're demanding that they repent. And the Six Marys are the best part of this story. Hands down, far and away. So let's skip a couple of pages. And so, the Six Marys meet up with Vampirella in this abandoned ship. Now, the reason why the undead have made a headquarters here is because the rotting flesh of zombies, it's kind of masqueraded or hidden by just the general nastiness of a half-sunk ship. So the Six Marys, as I've mentioned before, are very suspicious of Vampirella. So Vampirella, they're drawing the suspicions. They don't actually kill anything. That's a huge negative mark. You go and you're hunting vampires and some undead, and you don't actually kill any vampires or undead? Ooh, come on now, Chris. I think Christopher Priest is trying to be a little bit too clever here. Like, give us what we want. I don't give a damn about the lesbian relationship or whatever the fuck Benny the Male Witch is doing. I want to see Vampirella kill some shit. And in this series, she does actually wind up killing some shit, but I'm going to skip those panels because it doesn't contribute much to the story. Anyway, the Six Marys, well, actually 5 of the Marys plus their leader. So 5 of the 6 Marys are suspicious of Vampirella. And they're just voicing their concerns about her and how she can't be trusted. As that's happening, this is Eustankios. Like I mentioned before, Eustankios has the ability to take over the souls of small verminous creatures like snakes, roach, insects, and here a pigeon. This is actually someone named Drake. He is Vampirella's demonic brother, and this is just his disguise. So Eustankios, along with Drake, are plotting with Vampirella's mother to engage in shenanigans. Speaking of mother, this is why I have Vampirella number 1 making a guest appearance. Look carefully at this pose. Now, look carefully at this pose. Down from the foot to the right arm to the face to half of the left arm. It's all the same pose. Except this one is shrunk a little bit, scaled down, and the arm is raised. This one is scaled up, and the arm is resting on the hip. Don't get me wrong, it's a rockin' pose. It's really cool when, you know, you've got this power figure or this power stance, but we've seen it before. In fact, she's actually wearing the same outfit, same necklace, slightly different colored shoes. She has a... In issue 1, she had like a purse. In issue 6, she has a wine glass. I'm catching you recycling art, Ergun Gunduz. Ergun Gunduz is the artist for this book, by the way. And he's a copy-paster. Cheater, pumpkin eater. Anyway, this is Drake when he is not in his hidden form. He looks much more like a vampire. Anyway, the reason why Mother is here is because Drake was scheming with Eustankios, And so they're plotting with Mother to try and pressure Vampirella into doing something. But we don't know what it is yet. Let's skip a couple of pages. Actually, let's skip about 10 pages. Because there's a whole lot of nothing that doesn't happen. We get a very prolonged sequence where Vampirella is hanging out with Victory. And so while they're in the police station with Victory, because Victory was paying some parking tickets and Vampirella went with her just because, it's to make it less boring. So anyway, Victory is paying some parking tickets. They go into an elevator. And then Victory, who is the black woman, by the way, gets held hostage. Vampirella, the person who took Victory hostage, was acting under compulsion by the Von Christ and his gang. And so it was all just a setup to kind of expose Vampirella. But during the hostage situation, Victory is like, yes, I finally get to see Vampirella use her powers. But Vampirella doesn't really use her powers. And so Victory is a human, It's like, just like how anybody else would react in the human world. It's like, oh no, Vampirella can't save me, I'm going to die, I'm getting scared. And so Vampirella eventually does use some of her abilities, but she took a really long time to do it. And this is the aftermath. The prisoner who was compelled killed one of the security officers, and then Vampirella herself killed the hostage taker. And so Vampirella, not wanting to just get seen, at least in the state she was in right then and there, flies up the elevator shaft, opens it up, and oh my gosh, people. And here's the therapist. Again, the therapist makes a very brief appearances. It has me liking him a lot more since I don't see him as often. So anyway, Vampirella is pissed off because she knows that this was all plotted with by her mom, because her mom is the one. Earlier I said that it was Von Christ who set up the hostage situation. That is not correct. My apologies. It was Vampirella's mother who set up the hostage situation. I might even have to edit that section out just to make sure I don't sound silly. But anyway, Victory is really pissed off because Vampirella used her powers in a way that put her in genuine danger. Anyway, we'll skip to Vampirella, and this is part that's a little bit silly. The reason why she was doing all that climbing and stuff was so that she could crash through the window, have people see her, and then fly up out of the window. And that effectively ends the relationship between Vampirella and Victory, or at least for them, it greatly damaged the relationship. And, it's Benny doing nothing of consequence. So, and one other thing that happens in the story is that earlier, at the end of issue 5, we saw the one woman with a heart on her forehead and was being compelled by the charm. She had killed the family. That was all just a trap to lure in Nyx, the fire spirit. And so they used that to eventually... She killed Nyx's body, the Fire Witch. And so Nyx, with having no choice except to take over the soul of the sun, because if you recall, at the end of issue 5, the dog was killed, the husband was killed, but the son was still left alive. The son was still left alive so he could be used as bait. Nyx had to take over the son's soul because the woman with the heart hex she killed Nyx's body. She ripped out her heart. Actually, you know what? I can go ahead and show that. 1 second. Yeah, there we go. So you can see the heart charm lady is literally shooting out Nyx the Fire Witch's heart. Quite literally rips it out. And her human body is now dying. And the sun is freaking out. By the way, I don't know if it's the letterer or the artist, but we need like some scream sounds here. I don't know if you were rushed or what's going on, but that's not the only place in the book where some onomatopoeia is missing. So anyway, she eats the heart. Nyx possessed this woman's body. She's dying. And so the heart charm lady is kind of forcing Nyx in this possessed body to get the sun to grab the fire wand. She consumes his spirit. And so now her body is no longer dying. Anyway, I wanted to make sure I did point that in. Because it's not bad art aside from the missing onomatopoeia. You know, I do not believe that this is a silent scream. We know the kid can talk. Anyway, this is not a perfect jumping off point. I'm going to continue with the series. Hit that like button, subscribe, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.